Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Lopes on Movies. My name is Joey Lopes, and today I am joined by Connor, live in New York.
Ooh, it's almost Halloween. Hey, Joey.
And Kyle, live from Delaware.
There's nothing scary around here. I got nothing.
There's nothing scary. There's nothing exciting. It's just Delaware.
Well, yeah, if there was scary stuff, it would be exciting.
It would be. It would be. But you know what is exciting?
What?
This episode of the show that we're about to get into.
Yes.
So we got a few things to talk about. Before we get into the movie that we saw, which is the new film, The Lighthouse, we have a couple of little tidbits to get into. A little bit of movie news, a little bit of updates on what's going on in our world of movies. So first thing, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood extended cut. If you're not already aware, this movie was put back into theaters with what is being billed as an extended cut of the movie. I'm not entirely sure why they did this. Maybe just to drum up a little bit more publicity as we get closer to Oscar season. But nonetheless, I decided, hey, I'm going to go see this because I really liked this movie the first time. All I can say about the extended cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it is definitely a scam, but the movie is still the best movie of the year. So I still wholeheartedly recommend letting it take your money.
Sometimes scams are good.
That's such a way to put it, Joey. Like, I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood twice, and even though I'm sure that the additional scenes are just little fun tidbits, but I would enjoy even seeing them at some point.
No, it's fun stuff, but I think people need to temper their expectations because the movie itself is completely unchanged. All you're really getting is right before the movie starts. There's a couple of period ads, things like the Red Apple cigarettes. There's an ad for that, a commercial. And there's another commercial for the beer that Cliff drinks later in the movie. And then after the movie, there are additional scenes from the TV shows that Rick Dalton was filming.
Bounty Law.
Yeah, there's an additional Bounty Law scene, or an extended Bounty Law scene, I should say. And a scene from the show Lancer that he was guest starring on during the movie. This is all great stuff. I loved it, but I can't sit here and tell you that it's substantial in any way. So if you don't really feel like seeing the movie again, but we're thinking maybe this extended cut will be worth my time, don't do it.
Yeah,
but
I actually read a couple articles recently that this has been probably one. I think they said it's the second highest grossing Quentin Tarantino movie of all time. I think the first was Django.
Yeah, it's done tremendously well.
Yeah, and it's also such a cool thing too because it's the only movie that did well relative that's not a Marvel or Disney kind of thing that came out that's making this kind of money, which is pretty awesome. So I think you should champion this. We're championing this film. This is one that we.
I'm a huge fan. It's the kind of movie that I can imagine myself, just on a rainy day, just putting it on in the background and just living with it. When I'm watching it, you never want it to stop. It's that kind of movie.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Great movie.
All right, Connor. You had a couple of things you wanted to get into, so let's start with that.
Yeah. So the Oscars happened yesterday.
Well,
sort of.
But was it the Governor's Awards or something? The honorary Oscars?
Yes, there were honorary Oscar awards given out, and our guy David Lynch got his honorary Oscar for his achievements in film.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to see my man get recognized.
Yes, of course. And if you haven't seen any films by David Lynch, shame on you and go do it immediately. We're talking about Blue Velvet. We're talking about Mulholland Drive. We're talking about Lost Highway. We're talking a whole bunch. The Straight Story we talked about before.
You've probably seen Twin Peaks. If odds are that you've seen Twin Peaks, so you kind of understand the gist of the David Lynch thing. But oh my God, you got to watch David Lynch movies. They're some of my favorite things in the world.
He's the greatest, and I think one of the best things also is David Lynch's acceptance for the award. It's spoken in only a way that David Lynch can do it.
Yeah, he's a very unique man. And I think he, anytime you can watch any interview with David Lynch or anything, it's always a good time. It's always extremely entertaining. And I think, like Connor said, his acceptance speech for this honorary award was wonderful.
Yeah, I think it was a total of 40 seconds.
The 40 seconds.
They did not have to play him off. They he was done in 40 seconds.
I think he said something like, thank you all. This means so much. You all have interesting faces. Good night.
And he walked off. And he was presented the award by Laura Dern, his longtime collaborator, and Kyle MacLachlan, another longtime collaborator.
You
and
love
Isabel
to see
Rossellini.
it. You love to see it. Like, it just warms your heart to see.
It does.
To see David Lynch get recognized for all of his tremendous contributions to film.
But that doesn't mean we want you to stop. I know you might not be making film anymore, but, whatever you do, man, just, we'll be there. We'll be there to see it.
Twin Peaks Season 4? Maybe.
Oh, there's actually
Maybe.
rumors about Twin Peaks Season something about Twin Peaks. There's rumblings out there. They've kind of slowed down recently, but,
Speaking of rumors, Connor, you also wanted to get into a rumor about Netflix that's been kind of making the waves on the internet today.
Yeah, this is a very new thing. So, Netflix, right? They have an idea to innovate the film industry and watching films too. It's Kyle, you want to go ahead and explain to the people what this idea is that Netflix has?
Yeah. Now, I'm no scientist, so I'm probably not gonna get it, perfectly. But Netflix wants to start. Is it just movies? Is that
TV too? Just like their whole catalog.
So Netflix wants to speed up their whole catalog by 1.5 times, so that everyone can watch their favorite films and shows just a little bit faster. just get through that binge, just
That's right.
a few minutes.
Well, I mean, we all have busy lives, we
Yeah.
can't be making time for art in our lives, right? We can't be making time for art in the way that the artist intended it to be seen.
No.
We have to be able to just fit it in to our busy schedules. So
Yeah.
it's really, I greatly appreciate that Netflix is taking this step to make our art more efficient.
I wish everything in my life moved at 1.5 times.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? We'd just be zipping
Really would.
around like, woo.
Well, Kyle, I think there's certain things you wouldn't want to move that fast.
You can't get much faster than 5 seconds.
But more seriously, I think what the rumors are actually saying is that Netflix is testing like variable playback speeds. So they're testing the potential for the users to decide how fast they want to view their content. I think it goes without saying that this is an absolutely atrocious, hideous idea, and that they should be ashamed for even considering it.
I bet you there's just as many people who think that this is a fantastic idea, or more, than the people who realize that this is a totally anti-art, like total slap in the face, like idea. What would our guy David Lynch say about this, who famously already has been outspoken in an interview of saying what he thinks of people watching movies on their phone?
Such a sadness.
It's such a sadness.
Get real.
If his acceptance speech was 1.5 times. Whew.
Oh man, it would have been over like that.
Yeah, you'd blink and you'd miss it.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about this. It's absolutely horrifying, and I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope that there's enough pushback from filmmakers to really, really rally against this. But I mean, honestly, it would not surprise me if Netflix went through with it anyway, just because they've already done things to like hurt the integrity of the stuff on their catalog, like offering an option to skip the opening titles of movies.
Wow, they have that for movies too.
Yeah, they have that for movies, so you could watch whatever movie you could think of, E.T., whatever, and skip whatever the opening titles are, because just got to get straight to the movie. Don't worry about like seeing that, which was also crafted by the artist and made in a particular way. Nah, we gotta keep it going. We gotta get through these things as fast as possible.
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point exactly?
Well, Netflix are doing one thing well though, and that's The Irishman is coming out, financing that.
Yeah.
Now where's our guy Marty though? Marty should speak up about this too. Martin
Scorsese. Surprised if he did, honestly.
I bet you he would.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, it's not like Marty is afraid of sharing his opinions when asked in interviews, as we've seen over the past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, and guys, I'm very excited. This coming weekend, I'm going to be seeing The Irishman.
I'm gonna try to
Hey.
find a way to get up there to New York and see it as well. I don't know what that's gonna look like yet, but
Yeah.
believe me,
bus.
I want to be in the theaters
Oh
for
yeah.
The Irishman. And Kyle, you got to come with us too. Like we got to.
No, I'm gonna stay at home and watch it 1.5 times faster than you are.
It is a long movie after all.
Exactly. I can't be sitting through that crap. I got things to do.
Oh God. Okay, well, I think we've talked long enough about the movie news and the
Scuttlebutt, you know.
in crazy developments going on. So I think it's about time that we actually get into the movie that we all saw. So we saw the film The Lighthouse. So here's a synopsis. The hypnotic and hallucinatory tale of two lighthouse keepers on a remote and mysterious New England island in the 1890s. It was directed by Robert Eggers and stars Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe in the lead, really the only roles in the movie.
There were those other old guys at the beginning.
Yeah, there was two old guys in the beginning that you see from far away, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. This is also a movie that's released by A24, which we talked about in the past with Midsummer. They released that movie. And Robert Eggers is also known for directing The Witch, which was another A24 movie. I think one of their first like really popular movies that kind of broke through.
That was the first time I remember seeing A24.
Yeah, like they got kind of famous on that movie a little bit. So this is his next movie after that. So, Kyle.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about The Lighthouse?
So, usually I don't care too much what the people around me think of a movie, because people are stupid like myself. But when the credits started rolling for this movie, the teenage girl next to me, I think, put it best when she just put her hands up and said, "What?" And I feel like maybe not that extreme, but that was a very similar sentiment I had watching this movie. In a good way, though. I enjoyed this movie a whole lot. But oh man, is it a weird movie. Like, I think I said this right afterwards to you, Joey. It's one of the few movies where I felt very, like, unsettled and weird, but also I was laughing through this unsettling feeling.
It's definitely a movie that makes you feel weird.
Yeah.
It puts you in a weird place.
It might be good weard, though.
I mean, I'll
because
tell
I
you
really
right now.
enjoyed it.
I think
but-
it's good weird.
Oh man, is it weird.
I think the best thing I can say about The Lighthouse before really getting into the movie itself is that I'm shocked that we're even able to see this in Delaware.
Yes.
And I
at a mall
absolutely
movie theater.
Yeah, I urge everyone listening to this to please go see this while you still have a chance. Like, so it's currently playing at the mall. I think it's playing in Brandywine.
That sounds about right.
But it's extremely rare for Delaware to get these kinds of like extremely art house movies. And I mean, this is like an extremely art house movie. We're talking like it's in black and white. It's in a 4:3 aspect ratio, super R rated. I mean, the premise is about two weird guys stranded on an island with a lighthouse. I mean, the fact that this is playing in giant multiplex theaters and just average movie going audiences are just going like, yeah, why not? I'll see this. Like, oh my God, you
How
love
weird
to
could
see
it be?
it. You absolutely love to see it. It was a magical experience seeing this with a packed theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a packed theater. Like, you really got to hand it to A24. Like, they somehow managed to not only get these kinds of weirdo movies into big theaters, but they actually get people to see them. Like,
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Connor, what did you think of The Lighthouse?
What did I think of Lighthouse? I loved Lighthouse. I mean, I think this is one of the best movies I've seen all year. I think the only movie that tops it would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's fantastic. Like, just all around. Acting, like, just the comedy, the horror, just the surrealness, the way it was shot, the way it was, everything about it was just incredible. The story, just I'm forever thankful to A24 for existing. Because without them, it seems like I would have nothing left, you know? I need these guys. These guys have done, like, so many great things. Like, in terms of, like, getting these pictures into theaters that are getting seen by audiences. And they still have movies coming out this year that are like, ones that I really want to see that I'm very interested in. That are, I think, definitely going to be in the consideration for award season, too.
Yeah.
That's what this one felt like to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I couldn't rave more about it. I think we should get into it because it's just, amazing. So I guess like these two guys are, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, so who are pretty well-known actors.
Yeah,
I would say
everybody. So. And Robert Pattinson, they're both wikis, right? So what a wiki is they're people who, they're lighthouse keepers. They're on assignment on like an island to keep the lighthouse going so that other ships can like see, right? Know like where they're going. And it shows you like in gruesome detail how rough that existence would be and was in the 1890s of exactly how you had to keep a lighthouse going.
Well, it isn't just like this is a terrible job. Like in the beginning when you're first watching the movie, you get the sense like, wow, doing this is just terrible. Like and it feels very much like you just kind of see the process of what they're doing, and it's rough. But what the movie's really about is how doing that and straining yourself with two deeply strange people stranding themselves together in this absolutely horrible environment, going basically completely insane because of it. So it's a good old-fashioned descent into madness, I think, is the best way to describe it.
Oh, yeah.
So don't go into this thinking you're just going to see a movie about two guys tending a lighthouse. That's not what this is. It is what this is, but it's not what this is.
I didn't want to try to make that be the only thing it was, but it's beautiful too.
Oh,
the lighthouse is amazing. The scene, just everything about this is awesome. the little shack house that they live in, like they get so much out of that. It's the camaraderie that they have, and also they hate each other at the same time, and it goes through so many like, I don't know.
It's almost hard to talk about because there's so much going on with it that you basically have to grasp at each individual little detail to try to form a bigger picture of why it's so interesting. But I think the easiest thing to talk about would be just the performances, right? I mean, we're talking about both of these guys giving absolute like tour de force performances. Like Willem Dafoe is incredible in this movie.
Every one of his speeches is just like amazing.
I think like he kind of sounds like a pirate. And he has these ridiculous manic rants where they're like these poetic, insane diatribes
that go on forever, and they're like, amazing, and you want to keep going.
And so like Robert Eggers, he's pretty well known for The Witch, right? And that movie, one of the things that it did was it had this kind of approximation of ye old English dialect in it. And this movie has a similar thing with like 1800s dialogue. So there's some turns of phrase and language that's a little bit like archaic and maybe sometimes hard to understand. And so sometimes like Willem Dafoe will just be going on these rants and you could barely understand what he's saying, but you can't look away. It's absolutely captivating because just the intensity in the guy's like performance and his eyes are just like drawing you in, and it's like it's horrifying and it's kind of funny, but like that's kind of the general vibe of the movie. It's like you're sitting there just like glued to the screen in this weird state of like being absolutely disgusted but also being like captivated and also thinking it's kind of funny. Like I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Very strange.
I didn't get disturbing. Well, I mean, I understand the disturbing aspect, but I wasn't feeling as uncomfortable or feeling or anything. I don't know. I just enjoyed what I was watching the whole time.
Well, you might be a little bit weird then.
Yeah, maybe
Connor.
I'm just a sicko. I don't know.
You might be a bit of a sicko. I'm telling you right now, guys, don't go into this thinking it's just a fun romp like Connor's trying to say.
No, it is not that. But
don't be fooled like that teenager next to me.
It's like this is exactly what I was like hoping to get out of this. I can't imagine a better movie to watch at like a horror. I guess this is a horror movie in a sense. Like
it kind of defies genre a little bit.
Yeah. It does a little bit, right? But I thought it was a great October, movie to watch because it's exactly what I kind of want to see. I want to see some scary, horrific stuff maybe, and then I want to be able to laugh at it though too at the same time. It's it's perfect.
I think the movie that it reminded me the most of is Ingmar Bergman's Persona. I don't know if either of you guys have seen this. I saw it in a film class like a while ago.
I played the games.
It's very, very different different properties we're talking about here, Kyle. But that movie, like, they're both kind of similar in that they're both like featuring two main characters in one setting that both kind of go a little nuts. And both movies also have a lot of ambiguity about the events that take place. Like in this movie, there's instances of like the lines between the characters being blurred a little bit. Where like in this, for example, like there are times when the characters will say, like they'll talk about something they did as if the other person did it, and then it's like revealed later on that both characters have the same name, Thomas. And it's like,
Yes.
I don't know what this means. I couldn't tell you what I make of any of this. And I couldn't tell you what I made of any of Persona because I saw it a while ago. And I don't think that I really got it at the time or really appreciated it. But watching this made me really want to go back and see that. Because it's clear that that was an inspiration on this. And also, obviously, like, I mean, both movies we're talking about like 4:3 aspect ratio, black and white movies. So maybe it's a little... Maybe that's really why the comparison came through. But they're both similar, I think, in a lot of ways. I think it's interesting to see a movie like Persona, you know, this like really hardcore Ingmar Bergman art film, a movie like that playing to mass audiences in multiplexes. That's a deeply beautiful thing to me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, Kyle, one thing that you said too after we left the theater, you'd mentioned some aspects of the sound design in this that are just incredible. Like I think even more so than the cinematography, which is great. Like I really, really love how it puts you in that place. But like the sound design really helps put you in the mindset of the characters because it's kind of slowly driving you absolutely insane in the same way.
Yeah, like honestly, it's, well, I guess this isn't a spoiler, but like the loud booming noise that goes on for a lot of the movie, that's what like gave it the disturbing feel for me. Yeah, it's just like a very unsettling sound that keeps hitting you.
Yeah, it's that foghorn of the Lighthouse, basically, right? Where it's, you know, these guys are constantly dealing in this horrible environment, and every once in a while, it's just this loud boom, right in their faces and right in their ears. It hits us with just the same intensity. Yep, it's just amazing, and like the attention to detail that had like all of those little elements coming into place to really make the setting like feel so alive. It's really a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So I have this. When you guys were watching this, did you think that they were like both like going mad at the same time and at the same rate, or is it?
I think there's times when you feel like it's only one of them, and then there's times when you feel like it's both of them, and it's kind of hard to tell which is which. And I think this is the kind of movie that would reward repeat viewings.
I was just going to say, I think that I will get a different experience watching it the next time, because I was seeing it like this one character is going mad, but really, if I kept watching it from a different angle, maybe I would see it differently, and then maybe it's all of it. It's both of them at the same time, and they're doing it to each other with their because I mean it's just awesome. Like I think this is just mastery. I really do. And The Witch was great also. This guy is a tremendous filmmaker. I'm a big fan of his work.
I mean, I didn't see The Witch, so I had no idea going into it. And I'm really not like a big horror movie guy. So I think that I didn't go into this expecting a horror movie, and it's really not.
No,
so I wouldn't
really
go to like, if you're expecting a horror movie, I don't really think that's exactly what this is. But I don't really know how to describe it either. Like I don't want to call it a comedy, even though there are funny parts.
No, I don't know if I would straight up call this a comedy.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, you know. Like I said it before, it kind of defies genre a little bit, and you just kind of gotta go into it knowing that it's pretty disturbing, but also kind of funny, and that the experience that you're gonna get is at the very least, it's very unique. You know, I don't think that there's anything else in theaters you're going to see today.
Yeah, well, I mean, not even today. I just haven't seen a movie like this in a long time.
It's extremely refreshing in that sense, especially in Delaware, where like this kind of stuff never shows up. But it's also like I don't want to just like we've all talked about how like great this is, but I don't want to give the impression that it's just like this like hardcore art film that only a certain audience could appreciate. I think it's pretty broad. Or at least it feels pretty broad to me, because anybody will be disturbed by the stuff that's happening in this, and I think anybody will find the stuff that's funny. I mean, we're talking like fart jokes. Like this is not a highbrow movie.
No.
Yeah, like so don't get the sense that it's something that's like, you know, above your level or whatever. Like, and also don't be like disturbed by the fact that it's like black and white or 4:3. It only enhances the presentation. It only
or
makes
the fact
it,
that long stretches you won't know what they're saying.
Yeah, you'll have no idea what's going on really. But again, like it doesn't matter. Just let it wash over you, and you know, just kind of drink it all in. You know, just let it all affect you, and you will. Yeah, you'll leave the theater feeling a little gross maybe, and
but not like Midsummer gross.
No,
but,
not like you're like actively feel like the movie was trying to harm you.
No,
but just in the sense that like the lights will go up and you'll think to yourself, I just experienced that with a large group of people, and I feel kind of weird right now. Then you'll go home and you know you'll talk about how much you loved it. I don't know, guys. I feel like we've kind of talked in circles a little bit. So let's wrap this up.
No, I agree. I do want to say one. Can I just mention that the use of the seagulls in this is just amazing. Man. They had an entire, when you're watching through the credits, they had an entire team of maybe like 20 people or more even that were just the seagull team. They're like training the seagulls to make sure that they were moving in the right direction and everything for the shots.
You know, there was a part of me that was wondering if they were CGI, but they look too real to be CGI. So it's kind of
real.
Good to know that all of that was real. Oh my god.
God, I hope at least at one point it wasn't real.
Okay. Yeah. On that note, everybody, please go see The Lighthouse.
Yes.
Make some time. Okay. Let me step back for a second. This movie's not for everybody.
Take your kids.
No, don't take your kids to The Lighthouse. Don't take your significant other to The Lighthouse unless they're just as weird as you.
Don't take your teenage daughter who saw Twilight and loves Robert Pattinson.
Don't take your grandma.
Grandma will love this movie.
Just take yourself and maybe a group of friends, and
don't sit next to each other.
You're gonna have a weird time, but it's the right kind of weird time, and I think it's such an aggressively weird movie that it may even broaden your horizons a little bit, just because I don't think anybody's ever seen, like, nobody in Delaware has seen anything like this in a movie theater in a long time. So I think it's kind of a special experience to go have while you still have the chance. So.
Yeah, you know, I think this is a pretty good gateway art house film. If
a little bit, yeah.
You know, like kind of wanting to get into maybe some other things in art, like Captain America 5. Like, and want to see some other, like, maybe, you know, different types of things. I think this is a good entryway. You know?
Yeah, I would say so too. I would say so too. Everybody, thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to figure out something to do. You know, we talked about wanting to see the Irishman. I don't know if we'll have that scene in time to do an episode, but we'll get you something. It's going to be a great time. Until that point, though, everybody have a great rest of your morning.
Yep. And happy Halloween, everybody.
Ooh.
Spooky.